Welcome, friend. Come in out of the cold and settle down beside the fire. Tonight's story is a winter's tale, a tale of soft snow and quiet woods, and a warm green door hidden deep beneath the drifts. So let your shoulders sink into the pillow. Let your breathing grow slow and deep and easy. There is nothing more to do tonight, nothing at all. Only listen and drift. Our story returns us to the riverbank, where the mole and the water rat live side by side in their snug little homes. But the summer is long over now. The days have grown short and cold, and the swollen river races past the windows, brown and full, mocking any thought of boating. Frost lies on the meadows in the morning, and the animals of the field and hedgerow have drawn deep into their burrows, where it is warm and dry and safe. In the winter time, the water rat slept a great deal, retiring early and rising late. During his short day, he sometimes scribbled poetry by the fire or did small, comfortable jobs about the house. And of course, there were always animals dropping in for a chat, so the evenings were full of storytelling and the quiet comparing of notes on the summer that had gone. And such a rich summer it had been when one came to look back on it all. The pageant of the riverbank had marched steadily along, unfolding itself like scene pictures in a slow and stately procession. Purple loosestrife had arrived early, shaking its luxuriant, tangled locks along the edge of the mirror-still water. Willow herb, tender and wistful, like a pink sunset cloud, had not been slow to follow. Comfrey, the purple hand in hand with the white, had crept forth to take its place in the line. And at last one morning, the diffident and delaying dog Rose had stepped delicately onto the stage. And one knew, as if string music had announced it in stately chords, that June at last was here. Drowsy animals, snug in their holes while wind and rain battered gently at their doors, recalled still keen mornings, an hour before sunrise, when the white mist, as yet undispersed, clung closely along the surface of the water. They recalled the languorous siesta of hot midday, deep in green undergrowth, the sun striking through in tiny golden shafts and spots, the boating and bathing of the afternoon, the rambles along dusty lanes and through yellow cornfields, and the long, cool evening at last, when so many threads were gathered up, so many friendships rounded, and so many adventures planned for the morrow. But all of that was behind them now, and the fire crackled softly in the grate, and the kettle murmured its low, contented song. Now the mole had long wanted to make the acquaintance of the badger. He seemed by all accounts to be such an important personage, and though rarely visible, his quiet influence was felt by everybody about the place. But whenever the mole mentioned his wish, the water rat would smile and put him off. "It's all right," the rat would say, settling deeper into his armchair. "Badger will turn up someday or other. He's always turning up. And then I'll introduce you, the best of fellows. But you must take him as you find him. And when you find him—" "Couldn't you ask him to dinner or something?" said the mole. "He wouldn't come," replied the rat simply. "Badger hates society and invitations and dinner and all that sort of thing." "Well then, supposing we go and call on him," suggested the mole. "Oh, I'm sure he wouldn't like that at all," said the rat. "He's so very shy. Besides, we can't. He lives in the very middle of the wildwood, and it's a long way, and he wouldn't be at home at this time of year anyhow. He'll be coming along someday if you'll wait quietly." So the mole waited, as one waits in winter, patiently, while the days drifted by like slow water. But the thought of the solitary gray badger, living his own quiet life by himself in his hole in the middle of the wildwood, stayed with him the way a warm thought will stay, turning itself over gently in the back of the mind. And so one afternoon, when the rat in his armchair before the blaze was dozing over half-finished rhymes, the mole formed a quiet resolution. He would go out by himself and take a look at the wild wood, and perhaps, just perhaps, strike up an acquaintance with Mr. Badger. It was a cold, still afternoon with a hard, steely sky overhead when he slipped out of the warm parlor into the open air. The country lay bare and entirely leafless around him, and he thought that he had never seen so far and so intimately into the inside of things. As on that winter day when nature was deep in her annual slumber and seemed to have kicked the clothes off, copses, dells, quarries, and all hidden places which had been mysterious mines for exploration in leafy summer now showed themselves plainly, as if asking him to overlook their shabby poverty for a while, till they could riot in rich masquerade as before. And in a way it was cheering, even comforting. He was glad that he liked the country like this, undecorated, hard, and stripped of its finery. He had got down to the bare bones of the land, and they were fine and strong and simple. The mole breathed the cold, clean air, and with great cheerfulness of spirit he walked on across the quiet fields, towards the wild wood, which lay before him, low and dark and still, like a sleeping thing, resting on the horizon. There was nothing to trouble him at first entry. Twigs crackled softly under his feet. Logs lay quietly across his path, and funguses on old stumps looked like little carved faces, familiar and far away. It was all rather interesting, and it led him on, deeper, to where the light was thinner, and the trees stood closer together, and the afternoon began, very slowly, to fold itself away. Everything was very still now. The dusk advanced on him steadily, gathering in behind and before, and the light seemed to drain away like floodwater. Slowly, slowly, and in that dim hour, the wood began to whisper around him. Small faces seemed to come and go at the mouths of burrows. Small sounds moved among the trees. A thin whistling far away, a soft pattering like the first fall of leaves. The wood, in its own old way, was letting him know that winter is a private season, and that a small animal, far from home, ought to be indoors at such an hour, by his own fire, with his own kind. The mole understood. He was tired now, very tired. He had walked a long way, and the day had been full. So when he came upon an old beech tree with a deep, dry hollow at the foot of it, a hollow filled with soft, drifted leaves, it seemed the most natural thing in the world to creep inside and settle down. The dry leaves rustled and sighed as he snuggled into them, and their faint, sweet smell of old summers rose around him. He was sheltered here, hidden, held, and as he lay there catching his breath, the sounds of the wood grew fainter and farther and less important, until they were hardly anything at all. Meantime, the water rat, warm and comfortable, dozed by his fireside. His paper of half-finished verses slipped from his knee. His head fell back, his mouth opened, and he wandered by the verdant banks of dream rivers. Then a coal slipped, the fire crackled and sent up a small spurt of flame, and he woke with a start. He reached down for his verses, pored over them a minute, and then looked round for the mole to ask him if he knew a good rhyme for something or other. But the mole was not there. He listened for a time. The house seemed very quiet. Then he called, "Moley!" once or twice, and receiving no answer, got up and went out into the hall. The mole's cap was missing from its accustomed peg. His galoshes, which always lay by the umbrella stand, were also gone. The rat left the house and studied the soft, muddy ground outside. There they were, sure enough, the prints of the mole's galoshes, fresh and sharp, running along straight and purposeful, leading direct to the wild wood. The rat stood in thought for a minute or two. Then he went back inside, took up his stout stick from the corner of the hall, buttoned his coat, and set off for the wild wood at a steady, unhurried pace. For the rat knew the wood well, knew all its ways and its paths, and the wood knew him. It was already getting towards dusk when he reached the first fringe of trees and stepped in among them, looking calmly on either side for any sign of his friend. Here and there a small face peeped from a hole, and seeing who it was, nodded respectfully and withdrew. For everyone in the wood knew the sensible, capable water rat. The little sounds of the wood settled and grew quiet around him, and all was very still. He made his way patiently through the length of the wood, calling out cheerfully as he went, "Molly, Molly, Molly, where are you? It's me. It's old Rat." He had searched in this quiet, patient way for an hour or more, when at last, to his joy, he heard a little answering cry. Guiding himself by the sound, he made his way through the gathering darkness to the foot of the old beech tree, with the hollow at its base. And from out of the hollow came a small voice saying, "Ratty, is that really you?" The rat crept into the hollow, and there he found the mole, curled deep in the leaves, tired out. "Oh, Ratty," said the mole softly, "I'm so glad you've come. The wood is so big when you don't know it, and I was so weary." "I quite understand," said the rat soothingly. "You shouldn't really have gone off alone, Mole. We riverbankers hardly ever come here by ourselves. If we have to come, we come in couples at least. Then we're generally all right. Besides, there are 100 little things one has to know, passwords and signs and sayings, and plants you carry in your pocket, all simple enough when you know them. But they've got to be learned. Of course, if you were Badger, it would be quite another matter. Nobody troubles Badger." The mole was greatly cheered by the sound of the rat's easy, careless voice, and by the sight of his stout stick leaning against the wall of the hollow, and he stopped shivering and began to feel warm and bold and more himself again. "Now then," said the rat presently, "we really must pull ourselves together and make a start for home while there's still a little light left. It will never do to spend the night here. Too cold for one thing." "Dear Ratty," said the poor mole, "I'm dreadfully sorry, but I'm simply dead beat, and that's a solid fact. You must let me rest here a while longer and get my strength back, if I'm to get home at all." "Oh, all right," said the good-natured rat. "Rest away. It's pretty nearly dark now anyhow, and there ought to be a bit of a moon later." So the mole got well into the dry leaves and stretched himself out, and presently dropped off into sleep, while the rat covered himself up too, as best he might, for warmth, and lay patiently waiting, listening to the slow breathing of his friend and the great hush of the wood all around. A wood at night is not silent, you know. It breathes, it settles. A twig lets go of its last leaf. Somewhere a branch shifts under its own weight, and far away, an owl calls once and is answered. And all these small sounds only make the stillness deeper, the way a single lamp makes a room seem darker and softer at its edges. When at last the mole woke up, much refreshed and in his usual spirits, the rat said, "Now then, I'll just take a look outside and see if everything's quiet, and then we really must be off." He went to the entrance of their retreat and put his head out. Then the mole heard him saying quietly to himself, "Hello, hello, here is a go." "What's up, Ratty?" asked the mole. "Snow is up," replied the rat. "Or rather, down. It's snowing hard." The mole came and crouched beside him, and looking out, he saw the wood in quite a changed aspect. Holes, hollows, pools, and pitfalls were vanishing fast, and a gleaming carpet of fairy was springing up everywhere. So delicate it seemed that one hardly dared to walk on it. A fine powder filled the air and caressed the cheek with a tingle in its touch, and the black boles of the trees showed up in a light that seemed to come from below, from the snow itself, a soft, white upward glow, and everything was quiet. For snow is the quietest thing there is. It asks nothing. It hurries nowhere. It simply falls and falls and falls until the whole world is tucked in beneath it. "Well, well, it can't be helped," said the rat after pondering. "We must make a start and take our chance. The worst of it is, I don't exactly know where we are, and this snow makes everything look so very different." It did indeed. The mole would not have known it was the same wood, but they set out bravely, holding on to each other, choosing the line that seemed most promising, and greeting every fresh tree as an old friend, whether they recognized it or not. The snow creaked softly under their 4 small feet. Crick, 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 and their breath hung in little clouds before them, and the flakes came down and down, slow and thick and endless, each one finding, in no particular hurry, its own particular place to rest. An hour or two later, they had lost all count of time. They pulled up, weary and pleasantly drowsy, and sat down on a fallen tree trunk to recover their breath and consider what was to be done. They had walked a long way, and the snow was getting so deep that they could hardly drag their little legs through it, and the trees were thicker and more like each other than ever. There seemed to be no end to this wood, and no beginning, and no difference in it anywhere. "We can't sit here very long," said the rat. "We shall have to make another push for it. Look here, this is what occurs to me. There's a sort of dell down there in front of us, where the ground seems all hilly and humpy and hummocky. We'll make our way down into that and try to find some sort of shelter, a cave or a hole with a dry floor to it, out of the snow and the wind, and there we'll have a good long rest. And after that, the snow may leave off, or something may turn up. Something usually does." So once more they got on their feet and made their slow way down into the dell, where they hunted about for a corner that was dry and a protection from the keen wind and the softly whirling snow. They were investigating one of the hummocky bits the rat had spoken of, when suddenly the mole caught his foot on something and tumbled gently forward into the snow. "Oh, my leg," he said, sitting up and rubbing his shin. "Oh, my poor shin." "Poor old mole," said the rat kindly. "You don't seem to be having much luck today, do you? Let's have a look. Yes," he went on, going down on his knees. "You've grazed your shin, sure enough. Wait till I get my handkerchief, and I'll tie it up for you. Good and snug." "I must have tripped over a hidden branch or a stump," said the mole. "It's a very clean, straight mark," said the rat, looking at it again, thoughtfully. "That was never done by a branch or a stump. It looks as if it was made by a sharp edge of something made of metal. Funny." He pondered a while and examined the humps and slopes that surrounded them, slowly, carefully. "Well, never mind what done it," said the mole, forgetting his grammar in his weariness. "It aches just the same, whatever done it." But the rat, after carefully tying up the leg with his handkerchief, had left him and was busy scraping in the snow. He scratched and shoveled and explored, all 4 legs working steadily, while the mole waited, remarking at intervals, "Oh, come on, rat!" Suddenly the rat cried, "Hooray!" And then, "Hooray, hooray, hooray, hooray!" and fell to executing a small, happy jig in the snow. "What have you found, Ratty?" asked the mole. "Come and see," said the delighted rat. The mole hobbled up to the spot and had a good long look. "Well," he said at last slowly, "I see it right enough. A door scraper. Well, what of it? Why dance jigs round a door scraper?" "But don't you see what it means, you dear dozy animal?" cried the rat. "Of course I see what it means," replied the mole. "It simply means that some very careless and forgetful person has left his door scraper lying about in the middle of the wild wood, just where it's sure to trip everybody up. Very thoughtless of him, I call it." Oh dear," sighed the rat. "Here, and stop arguing and come and scrape." And he set to work again and made the snow fly in all directions around him, soft white showers of it, glittering faintly in the last of the light. After some further toil, his efforts were rewarded, and a very shabby doormat lay exposed to view. "There, what did I tell you?" exclaimed the rat in great triumph. "Absolutely nothing whatever," replied the mole with perfect truthfulness. "You seem to have found another piece of domestic litter, and I suppose you're perfectly happy. Can we eat a doormat? Or sleep under a doormat? Or sit on a doormat and sledge home over the snow on it? You exasperating rodent." "Do you mean to say," said the excited rat, "that this doormat doesn't tell you anything?" "Really, rat," said the mole quite pettishly, "whoever heard of a doormat telling anyone anything? They simply don't do it. They are not that sort at all. Doormats know their place." "Now look here, you dear old thing," replied the rat patiently. "Not another word, but scrape. Scrape and scratch and dig and hunt round, especially on the sides of the hummocks, if you want to sleep dry and warm tonight." And so the two of them set to work together, digging in the soft snow side by side. The rat probed gently with his stick and dug with a will, and the mole scraped busily too, more to oblige his friend than for any other reason. For privately he thought the good rat was dreaming, and the snow went on falling around them, unhurried, unbothered, and the wood stood round the little dell like a ring of tall, patient watchmen wrapped in white. Some 10 minutes steady work, and the point of the rat's stick struck something that sounded hollow. He worked till he could get a paw through and feel, then called the mole to come and help him. And hard at it went the two animals together, paw by paw, scrape by scrape, till at last the result of their labors stood full in view of the astonished and hitherto incredulous mole. In the side of what had seemed to be a snowbank stood a solid-looking little door, painted a dark, deep green. An iron bell pull hung by the side, and below it, on a small brass plate, neatly engraved in the square capital letters, they could read by the aid of the rising moon. Mr. Badger. The mole sat back on the snow from sheer surprise and delight. "Rat," he cried, "you're a wonder, a real wonder. That's what you are. I see it all now. You argued it out, step by step, in that wise head of yours. From the very moment I fell and grazed my shin, your mind said to itself, 'Door scraper.' And then you turned to and found the very door scraper that done it. Did you stop there? No. 'Let me only just find a doormat,' says you to yourself, and my theory is proved. And of course you found your doormat. You're so clever, I believe you could find anything you liked. Now, says you, that door exists as plain as if I saw it. There's nothing else remains to be done but to find it. Well, I've read about that sort of thing in books, but I've never come across it before in real life. You ought to go where you'd be properly appreciated, Ratty. You're simply wasted here among us fellows." "As it happens," said the rat kindly, "I'm exactly where I want to be. Now get up, old friend, and hang on to that bell pull you see there, and ring while I knock." So while the rat rapped politely on the door with his stick, the mole sprang up at the bell pull, clutched it, and swung there, both feet well off the ground. And from quite a long way down inside the earth, they could faintly hear a deep-toned bell respond, booming softly through hidden hallways, down long, warm passages, far below the snow and far below the cold. And after a time, a comfortable, shuffling time, they heard the sound of slow footsteps approaching the door from within, and the scroop of bolts drawn back, and the door opened a few inches, just enough to show a long snout and a pair of small, sleepy, blinking eyes. "Now, the very next time this happens," said a gruff and slightly grumpy voice, "I shall be exceedingly angry. Who is it this time, disturbing people on such a night?" "Oh, Badger," said the rat, "it's me, Rat, and my friend Mole. We've lost our way in the snow." "What, Ratty, my dear little man," exclaimed the Badger in quite a different voice. "Come along in, both of you at once. Why, you must be perished. Well, I never. Lost in the snow and in the wild wood, too. And at this time of night." And the door opened wide, and warm lamplight spilled out golden across the snow. And the two tired animals stepped gratefully inside, into the glow and the kindness and the smell of a good supper somewhere down the passage. And the great door closed softly behind them, shutting out the cold, shutting out the dark, shutting the warmth safely in. But what they found in Badger's kitchen, the firelight and the settles and the wide hearth and the supper, that, dear friend, is a story for another night. For our story is done now. The snow goes on falling over the wild wood, soft and slow and endless, covering the paths, covering the tracks, tucking the whole wood in beneath a thick white quilt. The little faces are all asleep in their burrows. The owl has folded his wings. Deep below the ground, in the warm heart of the earth, the mole and the rat are safe and warm and welcome, and everything, everywhere is quiet, and you too are warm and safe and welcome, right where you are. Your bed holds you the way the deep leaves held the tired mole, softly, completely. You need not go anywhere. You need not do anything. The day is over now, and it asks nothing more of you. So let your eyes stay closed. Let your breath come slow and slower still, like snow falling, like a river moving gently under ice. Somewhere far away, a green door has closed against the cold, and the lamplight glows, and the fire settles, and all is well. Sleep now, friend of the riverbank. Sleep now. The wood is quiet, the snow is falling, and morning is a long, long way away. Sleep now. Good night.